Welcome to the Media Secrets podcast. I'm Jess Todtfeld. I'm the author of a book called Media Secrets, a media training crash course. And today we are talking about the truth. R.I.P. the truth. That means rest in peace. Oh, it was nice knowing you. No, good news for people tuning in. The truth is still alive and we still care about the truth, but we are in an interesting time for the truth, which is every day we are hearing about fake news and we are hearing reports about what our president said is true or not true and what his advisors say is true or not true. And we don't know in the end about the truth. It leaves the rest of us feeling perplexed. So today I'm going to give you some insights. And I usually stay away from talking about politics, and this is always done in a nonpartisan way. So stay tuned. Here it comes. All right, so the truth and Donald Trump. Where do we even begin? I'm going to tell you where I'm going to begin, and that is with an article from BillMoyers.com. It was written by Stephen Harper. And he calls it the Trump resistance plan. But the piece that I loved the most, that I really thought was dead on from all of the voices out there, is something he calls the 3Ds. Strategy, deflect, divert. The strategy is deflect, divert, and distract. Those 3Ds. And we should have a link on this page for you to be able to find that full article. So it's pretty interesting when he gets asked a question, and I'm recording this right now, mid-February. He just did a big press conference, and he was talking about, one of the things he was talking about was, what does he know about Russia? What does he know about hacking? What does he know about people on his own team that was speaking with Russians? And some had to step down, and some might continue to step down. And he uses some interesting versions of deflect, divert, and distract. And he does it well, and it's not really something that I love and something that I recommend to many of my clients. I tend to push authenticity, and I tend to work with a lot of clients who are not politicians, who really just want to have the most control and want to get the right information through, and don't want to be at the mercy of the media and people who are asking questions. And the good news is, for the rest of us who are not politicians, who are not president of the United States, we usually don't get grilled at the level that a U.S. president does. And this president is not unique. Every president will get grilled, and every president is held under the fire, and every president has to deal with negative stories that they don't like. Donald Trump just isn't used to it. And actually, he's had his share of negative stories, but he feels like he is really dealing with some heavy-duty negative press. And he is. And he has plenty that he's put out there that deserves to be put in that light. And he also has some outlets that are his fans, and they're putting it out there. But as of yesterday, even some of the conservative outlets, including Fox News Channel, was really giving him a hard time and saying, answer some of these questions, especially ones that relate to Russia. So let's talk a little bit about that strategy: deflect, divert, and distract. So when he goes out there, he gets a question, and he's using a technique that I like to call short answer, long answer. And it's taken from something that I show clients called the answer system. And one piece of it is, when you get a question, you must give some short answer that deals with the question. And as long as you've done that, you now have control, and you can make your way wherever you want. Ideally, it's to some of your important message points, and ultimately it can be anything that you want to say. And this is how President Trump uses this. So he may get a question about Russia, and his short answer might be, look, we're always trying to make sure that our staff members are doing the right things when it comes to Russia. And once he said that, now he can take it anywhere he wants, which tends to be talking about the ratings of some of the news channels and The Apprentice and something that happened in the White House one day and anything that he wants under the sun. And half the time, more than half the time, the reporters that he's speaking to just have so many thoughts and questions related there. There's just so much that's thrown out. It really is a big distraction that they don't even know where to start. So ultimately, he gives a little nugget. He says something. He mentions the word Russia, if he's talking about Russia. But then he takes another direction. And then he talks about news channels and he talks about ratings. And then he slams some of the people in the room. So, there are diversions there. There are deflections, and it's a huge distraction all at the same time. It's not what I recommend for most clients. What I recommend is that you use the short answer portion to tell the interviewer, the reporter, whoever is asking you questions, that they are on the right track, the wrong track. So you might be saying, yes, and here's what I tell people, or no. Some people might think that. Here's actually what I think people should do, if that was part of your answer. And then you get to say whatever you like. So I push people toward just having more control and giving as much value as you can. So back to Donald Trump. A lot of people are talking about lies that he puts out there. Is it a lie? Is something a lie on purpose? Is what he puts out there just alternative facts or wrong facts? The answer is that it's a little bit of all of those things. So in the press conference yesterday, he got a question about, actually it wasn't even a question. He started talking himself when he was in that long part of the answer where he could go anywhere that he wants. He started saying that he had more electoral votes than anybody since Ronald Reagan. And now, in the age that we live in, a reporter was able to quickly look at their phone, if they didn't have the answer, and Google that and fact check on the spot. And actually, that's a great thing for journalism, that they are paying closer attention to what's going on. So this reporter looked down and said, actually, Barack Obama in 2008 got even more electoral votes. And I think it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 260, and Donald Trump had 206, somewhere in that neighborhood. And Donald Trump said, well, these are some of the facts that I got. And they said, well, it's actually, you're wrong. Oh, well, this is what I was briefed on. So, all right, what are you going to say? So was he lying? Was he just going with something that somebody had said, or something that he thought, or something that he felt was the truth? That's the time that we're living in. We're living in a time where politicians are going with what they feel is the truth, and they figure instead of apologizing, they say, well, I just had alternative facts, or that's what I just thought was the case. Fine. Everything short of saying, my bad. And this tends to be okay in 2017. Do I really think it's okay? No. I think that if you hold any elective office, you should be going out there with the best facts that you can so the public can feel like they are getting the truth every time. But the sad truth is that all politicians do this. And there's a swinging scale on how much they do it. So even Barack Obama, just to keep it on both sides here, even Barack Obama said things that weren't always pure facts. Did he do it on purpose? Did he not do it on purpose? I don't know. I did not get to ask either of them. But it is pretty safe to say, as I give out advice to you right now, lying is not a good strategy. Don't lie. I know you may be tempted to put out information that feels like it should be true. But my recommendation to business owners, to CEOs that are out there, is that you will tarnish your own reputation. Lying is a bad strategy. So with that, that is your Media Secret podcast for today. Go out there, be great, be authentic, and make the most from every media opportunity. I'm Jess Todtfeld.